Destiny 2. It is a gorgeous game. I mean, it's not a good game, but it looks so good. That being said, I didn't expect to be so massively underwhelmed at such a beautiful looking game. So allow me to delve into my feelings on, quite frankly, what was a pretty big disappointment for me. Destiny 2. Before I start, I'd like to say this game at no point really felt new. There really just was not a huge variety of much of anything, especially when it comes to just enemies that you're killing. I mean, it never felt like there was huge variety. Even if there are, and I'm just completely wrong on the subject, it never felt that way. So, you know, irrelevant. I mean, you got like the robots. I remember all the Vex and shit. The generic little crab people, whatever the fuck they are. And then you got the Taken, which are I don't know, some kind of evil version of the other people, and because of science and magic shit. You know, it's just the same game. It's just kill the waves of enemies time after time. Kill this next wave again, another wave, repeatedly in every situation. It didn't matter what was happening. It was always the same thing. You know, I was really on board with the game for the beta. I was all hyped up. I was excited to play. You know, it seemed like it'd be a good campaign. They got from the little taste test, but whew, oh man, it's just bad. This is not good. You know, when I got the game, the campaign, I played through it all the story, and it felt so unbelievably generic, which is, I don't know, almost hard to do at this point. Like, shit, you're in a crazy setting. How are you gonna do the same trope that's been overdone all the time? Let me give you a little summation. You see this man, well, he's a conqueror type of guy, and guess what? He's trying to, that's right, he's trying to become immortal. Better kill him before that happens, otherwise we got a big bad boy on the loose. You know, just your average run-of-the-mill storyline. It's been done so many times, which is fine. You know, you can redo shit, but you gotta do it well. You can't just do it poorly. I don't know why it feels like this game did it so poorly. It's just so basic. It's weird. You know, maybe I missed it, but there's this point in the game where, you know, you get your life back from this shard of the big round boy. And like, was there a reason nobody else in the main cast of characters was able to go to that shard and, you know, get their light back? Because they weren't complaining about it the whole time. They're like, "You're the only one with light. Wow, we could get you to do everything, but we'll help. But we might die. Wait, why don't we just go to the shard, and then we don't have to deal with this problem?" Well, okay. Well, you know, someone else had the same question I did. Apparently, I found it on Reddit. You know, I'm irritated because I had high hope for the game, and I just, you know, I wanted it to be good. Like, I'm a big fan of a good MMO. The only reason I don't really play MMORPGs very often is because they are time sinks. They will take up all of your time. You know, this whole scene kind of personifies what the entire game kind of felt like. You just kind of go through it all, and none of it felt very impactful at any real moment. And it's just filled with empty space. Basically, at this point, you could just argue that it's just poor storytelling. The whole situation in a book or a movie might seem far more dramatic and gripping, but in game, it doesn't really feel like much. It's constantly in a state of feeling like an empty game. It's all the same shit, just in different locations and a couple different planets. You know, when you're playing the game, you shouldn't have the constant thought of, why am I wasting my time on this? This is more monotonous and generic than I would have ever believed if I hadn't played it. Like, it's just so straightforward and just to the nothingness.
Wait, how did I die?
It's the things that Destiny 2 like just lacks as a whole that make it not a very good game. There's not much variety in gameplay. There's no introduction of new mechanics, really. They're all too similar, I guess you could say. I think there's just no real feeling of progression. Maybe due in part to the fact that the game just lacks diversity on a core level. And by that, I mean there's not much in the game that you can do that is different than any other moment in the game. The system of progression through repeating everything constantly, going through the same areas over and over again to open a chest with a possibility of upgrades, which never really feel like much of an upgrade anyways. There's nothing I found more irritating than being max level, which is 20, you know, already just feels small, doing a strike with other max level players, and getting level 18 gear. And I don't, like, why? Why? That's not what I want. You know, I keep saying it. It's just the game as a whole just feels so empty. Whether you're talking about actual tangible game space or just abstract gameplay and feelings, it just feels true for all of them. You know, when I'm playing and I really just can't understand why I'm still playing. But I know it's because I need to make a video. I need to get a full understanding of it. But I didn't want to play. It didn't have the draw of like a typical MMO that you can enjoy and just play mindlessly for hours. This one, it's just boring. I think what it boils down to is that Destiny 2 at no point really feels like a rewarding game. I think there's a core problem in just the limitation of what you can do as a unique character. Everything's basically the same, minus the ultimate. So there's automatically not much diversity between characters. It's a frustratingly boring game, and it looks so good. God, it had the potential to be great, and then they took the first Destiny, put a couple new trinkets over it, and filled it with forced microtransactions. It didn't need that. Stop looking for an excuse to justify it. It's a clear money grab system. So if you want to summarize it, it's just it's an empty game. It's dumb. It's bad. I mean, if I didn't like it, obviously, but that doesn't mean you didn't have to not like it. As I'm a curious boy, if you do like Destiny 2, you should let me know and tell me why, because I don't understand and you need to help me. But on that note, bye, Destiny 2. You kind of sucked. 5 orbs of light out of a garbage can. Really had the intent to do the endgame raid, but I just don't want to play the game anymore because it's just so dull. Legitimately, just so boring. I can't. Rip in peace, Destiny. Bye.
This is... Whew.